the uncomfortable process of venturing into an unknown. We prefer to be comfortable, but the call to venture into the unknown. We know almost nothing about them, those magi in Matthew's gospel. Were there 3 or 5 or 12? The gospel doesn't say how many. Our Orthodox brothers and sisters have names for 12. In the cathedral in Cologne, Germany, they have the relics of 3. They never came to a creche. They weren't kings. They didn't represent all of the human races. Scripture scholars like to say that theology trumps geography, that the message is more important than the archaeological data. They were pilgrims. They followed their star. They saw that star as a gift, a call. They were genuine religious pilgrims. They were willing to cross not only physical borders, but intellectual borders to discover not only new lands, but new truths. Something like that we call grace enticed them forward, leading them into that nature itself was communicating to them, perhaps to the world, an important message. Surely they were wealthy and significant in their own right, the gifts that they presented to the child, their status where they were. Yet they, like Abraham, they were willing to risk name and fame, to leave their comfort zone, to follow that star, to seek more than the comfort and power that they knew at home. So it takes a particular combination of courage and confidence to do what they did. That's what the first disciples of Jesus did. They abandoned their occupations and perhaps even their reputations to follow Jesus of Nazareth for the sake of the gospel. So what did the Magi know? Of course, they had their own wisdom and knowledge and certainties, but they knew that there was something more, that there was a greater truth, and they knew that growth requires displacement. If we stay in the same place, either physically or intellectually, growth is challenged. So growth requires displacement. They knew that they were entering into that uncomfortable process of venturing into an unknown that would stretch them. And so Matthew's Magi tell us that life is a journey, always moving forward. Life is a journey. I've enjoyed traveling myself, and a number of years ago, there were 4 of us in Zagreb, Serbia, and we were checking into a hostel later in the afternoon. And the young gal that was checking us in said, "I'm going to put you up on the 4th floor. It might be a little bit more quiet because everyone else staying at the hostel was much younger." And she said, "They're all going out on the pub crawl." Well, we did hear them when they came home sometime in the morning. But I found a small pamphlet there that said, a saying on it, "The world is a book, If we don't travel, we only read one page. Life is a journey, and every step of our journeys can move us forward and move us to more. But it's also a challenge of a process of venturing into an unknown. I'd like to quote from Sister Mary McClone. She's a sister of St. Joseph of Carondelet, the sisters that previously ran the academy. And she's stationed in St. Louis. She writes for the U.S. Catholic Reporter. And she suggests that the Feast of the Epiphany invites us to a holy disquiet, a way of living that has nothing to do with grumbling or complaint. She writes, "We make holy disquiet a lifelong posture by nurturing it with wonder, gratitude, and hope. To appreciate the good of every moment, not as something to be grasped, but as a promise of more." A holy disquiet, to nurture a lifelong posture, nurturing it with wonder, gratitude, and hope, that the good of every moment is a promise of more. That process of venturing into the unknown, that we may find at times uncomfortable, but that call that life is a journey and to grow. So the opportunities for growth in our faith, to venture into an unknown. Perhaps some of you have never made a retreat, gone to the Jesuit Retreat Center in Oshkosh. Or if you have, how long has it been? And the opportunities for retreats for men, for women, for married couples, the opportunities at the Abbey, the Norbertine Spirituality Center, the challenges, the call to grow deeper in our faith, in our relationship with the Lord. The challenge is that we become so comfortable where we are. Sometimes that fear of moving into the unknown, something new. But yet to do so with wonder, gratitude, and hope. Sometimes venturing into an unknown, we might end up in the wrong place. The Magi ended up in the palace of Herod, and they had to reorient themselves. They left Herod to his devices and continued to follow that star. So it's always possible to reorient ourselves. But nothing better than to continue seeking, to grow deeper in our relationship with the Lord. And so those Magi, they were sincere in their quest for the truth. That child who would later say, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." They were willing to humble themselves at the foot of it. They were prepared to offer their worldly wealth in pursuit. And so in a real sense, they proved that they were wise, they were noble, and they were sons and daughters of the King. So may we always remember that we too are sons and daughters of the King, and that we too are on a journey, and to be blessed with the grace of wonder, of gratitude, and of hope as we venture into the unknown.